Welcome back to LonelyMan BG's and this video on Cloudspire, a luxury board game by Chip Theory Games. This is the land of Ankar. It's a floating realm of independent isles, home to abundant breeds of beings. A mysterious ether-like substance known as the Source keeps the islands afloat, but centuries of use have left the supplies dwindling and the isles are coming together. Now, a battle for the Source has begun. The goal on Cloudspire is to upgrade your faction's fortress, protecting it at all costs. At the same time, you must deal damage to the opponent's gates. Cloudspire is a game for 1 to 4 players, which includes competitive play, as well as solo and cooperative modes. Let's take a little look at Ankar. The game is set up with this center hex tile, surrounded by 6 other hexes. This center hex has a source well directly in the middle surrounded by the path. From here, every surrounding hex must be connected to the center hex, which allows players to slot their fortresses into the outer edges. Ankar is made up of a multitude of terrains: forests, plains, mountains, water, and paths. Each hex, also known as an isle, also has 1 or 2 source wells, which is the main resource in the game. In the beginning, these are covered up with landmark chips of varying types. The source well closest to each faction's fortress is always covered with a swamp landmark, while the others can be temples or ruins as well. Swamps typically contain critters, such as this here grail wasp or this feisty sabisa. Temples and ruins contain things like gate ports, which allow teleportation across the isles, or this traxir, which delights in the consumption of Ankarians. And if you happen to be near the Grove Tender faction, watch out for rogue grizzled oaks. Once they get a taste of Grove Raccoon, they're unstoppable. And let's not forget this final landmark chip, the ancient traxir. Now we turn to the factions. The base game comes with 4, the Grove Tenders, the Narora, the Heirs, and the Brahmin. Each faction comes with a reference page which tells you about the advancements the factions can make to their fortress, faction specifics, and the different faction talent which appear on their units. These are the faction fortresses, each with its own unique upgrades and buildings. Each fortress has 2 circular slots. This is where the gate health chip is placed, and this is where the source tracker chip is placed. Each fortress gate begins with 10 HP, and players will attempt to reduce other factions' fortresses to 0. Source starts at 0, and typically cannot surpass a value of 20. Each player also takes the chips of their faction, which can conveniently be placed in these plastic barracks for ease of sight and access. There are 3 chip types: spires in the back, minions in the middle, and heroes which are up front. These units are deployed from your fortress and roam the Isles of Ankar in search of enemy gates. Cloudspire is played over 4 waves, each consisting of 6 phases. In the event phase, a single event card is drawn, which sets certain conditions for the rest of the wave. The events may trigger in different phases, and each has its own effect. For example, Source Surge activates in the Onslaught phase and allows players to earn double Source, while also raising Source capacity to 30 until the end of the wave. Next, the Income phase. In this phase, each faction gains a certain amount of Source depending on the wave number. In the Market phase, players will be able to make a single purchase from the market by spending Source. The market is made up of supplies and mercenaries that have been transported up from the world below via gate ports. These offer new spire schematics, mercenaries, and items which buff units and offer abilities. In addition, a single Earthscape may be purchased in each market phase for 2 Source. An Earthscape is a hex group which is used to modify the land of Ankar and usually offer a source well. The 4th phase is the build phase. In this phase, players will construct and upgrade spires, place their Earthscape hexes, and advance fortress attributes. When source wells are uncovered, players are able to construct spires from their barracks on those spaces by spending Source. There are 3 spire upgrade types: range, attack, and fortification. Upgrades act both as stats and health for spires. Range upgrades determine the number of hexes away a spire may attack. Attack upgrades allow spires to attack using dice. The amount of dice rolled is equal to the amount of attack upgrade chips beneath the spire. Fortification upgrades greatly increase the defense of the spires. In order for a spire with this upgrade to take damage, at least 2 damage must be received from a single attack, instead of 1 as normal. The market sometimes offers spires that can be constructed. These have their own special quirks. As an example, the Blade Wall is a punishing spire with 3 attack chips defended by a fortification chip. Fortress advancements play a large role in Cloudspire. As fortresses gain advancements, players place pegs in their fortress to note them. Some advancements come with dice. For example, the Inner Oak upgrade for the Grove Tender Fortress allows various effects, such as sending opposing heroes back to their fortress, an additional source in the income phase. In the prep phase, players let their enemies know which fortress they're targeting. In addition, players will earn a number of command points depending on the wave, which are then spent to select minions from their barracks for deployment. These minions will be deployed either grouped or ungrouped. Heroes are always deployed on their own, either before or after the minions. The final phase is the Onslaught phase. This phase consists of players taking turns moving minions and heroes across the land. Minions trek across the lands using paths, determined on attacking their target fortress. Before continuing on, opposing units must be struck down. Doing this gains your faction's source and sometimes relic cards. Relics consist of things like nourishing fruits and elastic movement conversion. Heroes, on the other hand, are free to move about in any direction, as long as they move along the terrains they are allowed. As heroes and minions come within range of spires, the onslaught begins, and the spires fire down upon their enemies. Let's take a brief look into the solo and cooperative scenario books. These consist of stories about certain factions, with objectives that the players will have to complete. The setups for these scenarios are different, with various wave numbers and opponents. There are 10 cooperative scenarios and 16 solo scenarios, as well as an endless mode for solitaire play, where you test your grit to see how long you can last. In future videos, we'll be taking a look at some of the expansions for Cloudspire, like a new faction, the Grege. Thanks for watching.